What's going on, everybody? It's Caveman here. I'm bringing you another video. This time, as the title suggests, I'm giving my 1-year review on Hogan Transport and the Dollar General account. So, I'm going to split them up into, obviously, two different things, Hogan and Dollar General. I'm going to grade them separately and a little bit differently, since one's a trucking company and one's just everything else, the freight and whatnot. So, each one's going to get either 1 out of 10 score, and then I'm just going to go over some pros and cons in each. So let's go ahead and go over Hogan. So I'm giving them a 8 on 10. So for some that might be surprising if you had a bad experience, and to others it may not be surprising to you, because in my opinion Hogan is a real solid company, especially for a beginner truck driver coming out of grad school. I mean, Hogan is probably a great company to go with, especially if you go for the Dollar General account in Zanesville. The girls there are just wonderful. So, right into the pros, I guess. First pro would be is home time. Now, for me, home time is the biggest deal for me. Home time and pay are my top two. So, home time for me was every weekend and sometimes more. I've had weeks where I got home every single day. And I've also had plenty of weeks where I stayed out Monday through Friday. I came home Friday, but I was gone all week. Pay, my last video, I had people commenting that they did the same job and made $600 more a week. Good for you. And they were able to do 2 trailers a day. They could do 20 trailers in a week and make $1 million in a week. Good for you. I'm not mad. I'm not jealous. I don't care. Good for you. Give yourself a pat on the back if you can do that. I purposely did not try to do 2 trailers. I mean, I'm not going to work myself like a dog. I made enough money to suffice, so 1 trailer a day, 5 a week were good enough for me. And then the third pro for Hogan is the staff there in Zanesville. The dispatchers, the load planners, and the boss. All great people. They've all been doing it long enough where if you have a problem, they've most likely dealt with it, unless it's a problem that's unique. And even if it's something unique, like for instance, a couple weeks ago, wife had a dentist appointment come up, and our son needed to go to a doctor's appointment on a Friday. And I didn't find out about that until Thursday morning. I called and said, "Hey, here's what I got going on." All right, no big deal. We'll get it figured out. They gave me something short that Friday where I was home soon enough to where I could take my son to the doctor's appointment. So they really do try to work with you there. I mean, if I had to grade each one, that staff there, 10 out of 10. I mean, the girls there are awesome. They work with you, and they get it. They don't drive themselves, but they do get it. They've been doing it long enough. Another pro with Hogan, and this is Dollar General specific, is work volume. I mean, if you wanted to work 6-7 days a week, run your 70-hour clock down to the minute, then you definitely could with this account. I mean, they could hire 10 new drivers in a day and still not have enough drivers for that day to cover all the loads. But if you live in Ohio, there's one thing that's well known, as there are a lot of Dollar Generals in Ohio, especially PA too. PA is getting up there, but I think Ohio probably has the most Dollar Generals there are in any state. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but I've been to enough of them, and I still haven't been to all of them. Another big pro for Hogan is their breakdown. I've heard horror stories of guys, breaking down side the road, or, just breaking down in general, and having to wait 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, or even longer, for someone to come and work on their truck, or tow them, or just to say, "Oh yeah, I can't fix this," and then leave, and then you have to wait again. I don't think I had to wait more than 2 hours. I think the longest I waited was about 6 hours, but that was because they had to go all the way to PA for a part. I don't know what part it was. Something for the emission system, and the longest part was getting the part. And then I got the part, an hour later it was fixed. So besides that, most of my breakdowns involve the trailer, and that most of those I could fix myself, unless obviously I can't replace batteries, and I can't do any hard labor jobs like welding, cutting, whatever. Never had anything to do any of that, but All right, that's enough pros for Hogan. For cons, the biggest one for me, it used to be the biggest one, but now it's not, would be the speed of the trucks. Speed of the trucks being 65 on the pedal and 63 on the cruise. That used to really get on my nerves, not being able to pass anybody except Prime and TMC and things like that. It doesn't bother me anymore. It's just, it is what it is. They're not going to change it. No matter how much I bitch about it, they're not going to change it. So, yeah, that's one con for me, even though it's not really that big of a con anymore. So, number 2, age of equipment. Now, this does still bother me because we share a terminal with US Express, and all their tractors are, I believe, 2018 and newer. Whatever the new body style of Freightliner is, whenever they started that new body style. I think it's 2018. I don't think 2017. I think, 2018 or newer. And it just makes Hogan look bad because they're still driving around 2014, 2015s. I really think they should be on US Express level because, they're probably just as big as US Express. Maybe not actually. US Express is pretty freaking huge. The third con for Hogan is their camera. Now, they have a road-facing camera, and then they also have a driver-facing camera, which that is where I have my problem with. Now, obviously, I don't think they're spying on me, because the only time that camera ever did go off was for a camera event. So, following distance and hard brakes, near collisions, stuff that you shouldn't be doing as a truck driver. So, and then the following distance thing, that irks me because you need 8 seconds between you and the car in front of you. And 8 seconds is quite a bit. And then the first thing that four-wheelers do when you give someone 8 seconds is they see that open space and they're, oh, I can go in there. And now your 8 seconds cut into 5 or 4 seconds. So that's just something you kind of have to work with, either slow down or get over in the left lane and just hold everybody up, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's all I have for pros and cons for Hogan. Now we're going to go directly into Dollar General, the polar opposite of it. Dollar General gave me a 3 on 10. They were pretty bad. They weren't always bad. They're not always bad. There's some good in there. So let's get right into it. For the pros, the work volume. Obviously, like I just said, Ohio and PA have a lot, and I mean a lot of Dollar Generals. Especially up in the Cleveland area, you can get up in there and there'll be one within a half mile of another. So there's plenty of work in a Dollar General account to where you will always have a job. Even the economy, crashes, you're going to be the last one to get out of work. So now, I mean, there's just nothing else to say about it. There's just lots of stores and lots of freight. Another pro, and this is a recent one, is trailers. They're investing a lot of money in newer trailers, Dollar General is, and newer lift gates. So there's a lot of old lift gates that are worn out and broken. Now they do have, this is another pro, is their trailer shop they have there in Zanesville. The guys there do a good job at what they're doing. It's usually the same problems over and over with the lift gates, so they've gotten good at working on them. I mean, what can I say? Even though sometimes I'll put a trailer in there saying there's something wrong with it, they look at it and say, yeah, it's fine, and then take it right back. I mean, I don't know what you can do about that. Um, and another thing, this kind of goes in with Hogan as well because it's tied in, is a breakdown. So if you have a trailer issue, for instance, dying batteries, when you do your pre-trip on your liftgate, you're supposed to run it through, supposed to run it all the way out, all the way up, all the way down. Make sure it works. Make sure your brakes go up and stay up, and all that. And if you have dying batteries that first time, or first couple times even, you use your liftgate, it will come out and go in, go up and go down, do everything it's supposed to, and then you get out to the first store, and then you get 3 or 4 lifts into your store, and your batteries start dying, and then they go completely dead. That happened to me, and they're like, oh, well, you need to do a pre-trip on it. It's like, well, I did. It's just the batteries are dying. There's nothing I can do. So call breakdown, and within an hour, someone's out there, replaced both batteries in the trailer. I was good to go. So usually for the breakdown, that's tied in with Hogan, but I haven't had a bad experience with breakdown yet on the trailer, so I'm putting that on the pro. Because once again, I've heard people of having to wait 5, 6, 7, 8 hours for repairs to be done. So yeah, I put that on the pro. Now, for cons for Dollar General, there are quite a few. I'm going to hit probably the 3 or 4 big ones. The biggest con for Dollar General, and once you've done this for a little bit, you'll know what I'm talking about, but stacking of the trailers. You open the door and there's just a wall of boxes staring you in the face. You can't even get to your switch in your trailer. You can't see the strap holding the roll containers back. It's just a shit job at that point. It sucks. Okay? I ain't gonna lie. And then sometimes you'll get halfway through a trailer and notice there's only been 2 or 3 straps, or they've had a strap every single row, which I'd rather have a strap every row than 2 per trailer. Let's see. And with stacking, sometimes we'll put boxes in a roll container that shouldn't be in there. Like 3 boxes of pool noodles, and then they have a bunch of boxes of candles sitting on top of it. And then you don't notice that, and then you pull out that roll container, and then 4 boxes of candles come crashing onto a metal floor. And you know what happens when a candle hits the floor, it shatters, and now you have broken glass, shattered glass on the floor you're walking in. So, let's see, what else? The staff. Now, this is staff at each store. This is a pro and a con because some store managers are awesome. They go out of their way to try to help you out as much as they can to make your job easier. Then you have the polar opposite where they don't try to help you at all. They give you attitude right off the bat. Like a big thing with Dollar Generals is taking back empties after you're done. So Hogan's policy is to take back as many as you bring in. So if you bring in 10, you take 10 back. And usually that shouldn't be a problem unless that store only has cardboard, in which if you only bring in 3 or 4, it would be hard to get 3 or 4 cardboard back in there, especially if the cardboard is not loaded correctly into the roll container. So that's another con, would be loading of the cardboard and roll containers. So if you've done this job before or getting into it, you'll quickly realize how important it is for people to properly stack and fold their cardboard inside these roll containers when you pick them up. It makes your job so much easier with getting the roll containers onto the liftgate and things like that. Another con for trailers would be liftgates. A lot of liftgates you get are old, used and abused, and broken in some way, shape, or form. And that broken, depending on what it is, a uneven liftgate can make your job hard. A brake that's not staying up will make your job way harder, especially if you drop a roll container off the end. It makes your job so much harder. So, what else? Staff. I mean, for Dollar General, I guess that's it for cons. They are starting to invest a lot more money into newer trailers, like I said, because they just got a fresh account over there in Zanesville. So fresh account means they haul all their milk, all the frozen pizzas, the burritos, stuff that goes inside the coolers. They haul that. So instead of having 3 or 4 stops at trailer, you'll have 8 to 15 stops at trailer. But I don't know anything about the fresh account. I asked about home time. They said you get home last, so I didn't do it. So, I guess that's it. If you have any questions about Hogan or the Dollar General account, leave a comment down below. I will try my best to answer it. You know, I don't know everything, but I am pretty knowledgeable on the account and Hogan as of Zanesville, not Hogan as a whole. But thank you guys for watching my videos. Hopefully you learned something. And if you decide you're a new guy that's coming into trucking, definitely give Hogan a look. You know, they're a great company. I highly recommend them. And once again, thank you guys for watching my video and have a good one. Bye.